Howdy y'all, this is Ned over at My Philippine Dreams, and welcome to the second part on our two-part series on jealousy in the Philippines. Before we start in the second part, I just want to make a couple announcements. First off, Democracy Doctor, a chick boy is not actually a lady boy, that is a transsexual she-male. A chick boy is actually more of a player, somebody who has a little bevy of girlfriends and whatnot, and is dating around and checking out the scene and all that. I just wanted to make sure that was straight in case you went to Angeles City and tried to order up something and your order got messed up. So that's what that is. Also, quick shout out to Bernie AV. He is a Filipino who has been contributing to the comment section a great deal, giving a Filipino perspective on this. That's extremely valuable and that's extremely important, and thanks for doing that. And he also brought up the piece that sometimes when you're out with your Filipina and there's another Filipina checking you out more than she would when you were by yourself or whatnot, they're doing the kind of crab mentality, I'm better than you thing. So thanks for noting that. Also, we're going to Siquijor this weekend. So hopefully I'll have some more turtle footage on the way. I'm sure you'll all be waiting with bated breath for that. But it'll be nice to get away. We haven't gone on a trip for a while, and it'll be good to get away. And finally, you might notice that I have long sleeves on today. There's a reason for that. Last night at around midnight, the nasty weather that we've had, that horrible hot weather streak, snapped with a cacophonous roar and a deluge, and the rains came down, and it's very cool today. It's actually cold. It's my semi-acclimated self is shivering at 83 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's good that that happened. Alright, but enough about that. We're going to Siquijor. It should be fun. We're also going to be doing a video where you guys ask Michelle questions in the comment section, and then she responds to those questions, because I'm still feeling my way through a lot of this stuff, and she's been here for quite a while, for 27 years, so she knows a lot more about this. And also, let me say one more time that I am not a relationship expert. I'm not pretending to be. Half the time I'm still feeling my way through, about 75% of the stuff that goes on here. All I'm doing is relating, my experiences and then talking to other expats and stuff. So keep that in mind. All right, so yesterday we talked about some of the underlying causes that bring about all this jealousy type fueled behavior. And so we could get a better perspective of it. So we could see the context, so we could see the history, where it comes from. A lot of other viewers noted that this is also in Thailand and other Southeast Asian countries. Somebody from, what was he, Spain, also chimed in. He was a Latino. I'm not sure where he was from. And he said that it's common in Spanish countries as well. So we looked at the causes and to give ourselves some perspective and some context. And today we're going to be looking at some of the behaviors. The first behavior that we're going to talk about is you might notice your Filipino likes to stay close to you at all times. Sometimes smotheringly close, sometimes right next to you, sometimes following you out onto the porch, following you into the backyard. She likes to be where you are. If you go out by yourself, she's going to be wondering where you're at, who you're talking to, what's going on, who you're looking at, who you're smiling at, who's smiling at you, and all that. That's one of the behaviors that is exhibited when jealousy occurs. There's a few more, but you're going to notice that one. Also, and this happens in the West a lot, she's going to be looking where you're looking. If you're checking somebody out, she's going to notice that. If you're out at a dinner with a bunch of friends and another woman gets up from the table and starts to sashay away, make sure you turn right to her and look her in the eye, so that she knows you're not looking at the other girl sashaying away. Even if she's in another room, for some reason they have like this sixth sense and they can tell when you're not looking in the right place. So that's another thing when you're out and about, and if you try the whole, hey, it's just involuntary reflex, it's it's like breathing, it just happens, I just glance and look away, it's like looking into the sun, I don't want to look too long. That really doesn't fly. And it doesn't fly in the West either. So that's like some common behaviors. Also, number 3 is making your partner feel jealous. If they're feeling jealous, they're going to want to share that feeling. They're not very selfish, they want to share it, so they're going to do things to make you feel jealous sometimes. An example of that can be talking about an old boyfriend, an ex, saying they got a message or an email from so-and-so, looking at other guys, saying, oh, he's guapo, or just little things. The thing about the Philippines is when they're trying to do this emotional manipulation stuff, like Tompo is basically the silent treatment. If you do something wrong, they're not going to tell you you did something wrong. They're just going to clam up, and they're not going to talk to you, and they're going to stare off at the wall and go lie down, and it can go on for a long time. And in Tompo, what you're supposed to do, when she's going Tompo, you're supposed to shower her with lambing. That is affection. You're supposed to be telling her she's the best, the most beautiful girl in the world, that she's your sun and your stars, and bringing her flowers and all that. But when they do this emotional manipulation stuff, it's very obvious. They're not very subtle. A lot of subtlety is lost in the translation, I think. So it's very blatant. It's very obvious when it happens. So you're going to see it. It's not when they try to make like a casual remark or whatnot. It's not going to seem all that casual. It's going to seem fairly direct, and you're going to figure it out pretty quick. So that's the third one. Trying to make you feel jealous. Hey, I'm feeling bad, so you should feel bad too. The fourth one is electronic intercepts. The National Security Agency in the United States lost an incredibly opportune moment when they overlooked the intelligence gathering of the Filipinos. If you have email, if you have Skype, if you have Twitter, if you have Tumblr, if you have Facebook, if you have MySpace, texts, anything, any of that stuff is liable to be intercepted. Is it an invasion of privacy? Yes, but it's something that occurs here a lot. It's taken for granted. And Michelle was even saying that with the younger generation, they're giving each other their passwords to their accounts just so they can, check on each other. So again, the NSA lost a really good opportunity in not contracting out to the Philippines to hire, workers for electronic intercept. So anything that is liable to be transferred, anything that's on your computer, any of that stuff, anything on your phone, it's all fair game. And again, when it happens to you, and it's never happened to me, I'm not going to get into the specific things that Michelle did in the time that we've been together. But it can be quite shocking. I've heard some guys get very upset at that, and they're like, that's it, she did it once, and that's it, we're done, I threw her out, I packed up her stuff, blah, blah, blah. But again, it's an intrinsic part of this culture. It's what they do. Is that an excuse for invading your privacy? No. But again, we're trying to keep it in context. We're trying to keep a proper perspective on things. The last thing that when someone's feeling jealous here, what they might do is they might actually have you watched. Again, we're getting like in the espionage side of things. Every Filipino or Filipina knows about 6 million other Filipinos or Filipinas. They're either friends or they're family members. The extended families here, this is a Catholic country, remember, are ridiculous. Even in a city like Dumaguete, which has a full-time population of 130,000, during the day that swells to about 400,000, but the full-time population is about 130,000. It's a sort of big city, but everybody knows everybody. It's amazing when you're talking to people that, oh, that's my cousin, that's my uncle, that's my stepbrother, that everybody knows everybody, everybody's keeping tabs. And even though Dumaguete is incredibly saturated with foreigners, I think it's the highest percentage per capita of foreigners in the Philippines, you're still going to stick out, they're going to know who you are, and they're going to be talking about you. So the whole watch thing, again, when we talked yesterday about the chismes part of it, the gossiping part of it. So you're going to be seen when you're out and about and you're doing your thing. And sometimes, again, if they're concerned about your fidelity or whatnot, they might have you watched. They might say, have so-and-so check on them, blah, blah, blah. All right? So these are all things, these are all some of the behaviors that you're going to see. These are just a few of them. Also, there's a lot of drama. There's crying, there's throwing themselves on the sofa and sobbing hysterically, and stuff straight out of telenovelas that we were talking about yesterday. So you're going to see that. The guys here that I talked to, it's about 100% they're affected by the jealousy thing. Guys in the United States were even commenting that they're, if they were married to a Filipina and she's been in the United States for a long time, they still have that jealous streak in them. It's something that's ingrained. It's part of their DNA or something. So this is something to keep in mind. So when you see it, you're not like, oh my God, this is horrible. It's not that uncommon. We talked about the emotional manipulation aspect of some of these behaviors. Again, when it's happening, it's very obvious. It's not subtle at all. What to do? Well, first off, you have to do an evaluation. You have to do an inventory. And you have to assess the importance of the relationship. Finding a good person anywhere in the world is not an easy thing to do. So if you think you have a good girl, if you have a nice girl, if she's always done you right in every other way and hasn't been sly or shady or looking on a money angle or anything like that, if you got a solid girl like that and she's doing these things, instead of making an ultimatum and going all black and white, all or nothing, you might try to compromise. You might try to talk about it. Be firm and say, listen, this is not going to be tolerated. You can't keep doing this. But again, if it's a good girl, if she's worth it, and there's going to be a lot of guys saying, I'm sure in the comments, and it's going to get a bunch of downvotes and everything, the video, for me saying this. But if you're in it for the long haul, if you're looking for a long-term relationship and you think you have somebody good, drawing lines in the sand, making ultimatums is actually self-sabotaging. Because if you're going to be cutting people off whenever they cross that imaginary line or that line you've created in the sand, you're going to find yourself pretty lonely. Nobody's perfect. And again, relationships are about compromise, it's about commitment, it's about communication. So you have to be talking about this. When you see the emotional manipulation going on and she's very upset, it's hard to have a rational discussion with her at that time. Maybe you're better off, going out for a little while, taking some time off, or just trying to ignore it to the best of your ability. I am sort of a jerk. When I'm confronted by that, I get kind of sarcastic. And I'm very good at sarcasm, and it doesn't help the situation at all. It's like there's a fire, and I'm pouring gasoline on it, and ethanol, and all kinds of stuff. So what I try to do when something like that's happening, and my head's getting twisted, I try to, separate myself from the situation, go somewhere and give all the parties, concerned time to cool off and to think about things. Being firm, but being patient. We're all works in progress. None of us are perfect. So those are some of the behaviors. Those are some of the things to look for. This is some of the way that they express their jealous feelings. It's a part of the culture, and it's not just in the Philippines. It's in other Southeast Asian countries. It's in a lot of Spanish countries. It's in Europe. This is big in Europe also. I think it's big everywhere but in the U.S. because we're just too obstinate or stubborn or something. I'll try to figure that out in some other video. So I hope I was able to bring some good examples of this behavior, and you guys are actually doing most of the work yourself in the comment section. There's been some really good comments. People haven't been threatening each other, which is always good. So keep the discussion going, keep the comments going. It's actually kind of cool because at this point, you guys are like talking to each other and commenting back and forth. It's like a big chat thing going on, which is really good. And I'm learning from this too, big time. I'm getting a lot out of this, absolutely. So if you're interested in more videos, click the subscribe button. Any gripes, bitches, and complaints, leave them in the comments section. You can always send us a private message. Also, check out our website over at www.myphilippinedreams.com because I'll be putting up a supplementary blog entry for this part of the video. Until next time, this is Ned over at Philippine Dreams. Take care.